All right,
All right, so today I got like three mid games. Um, the first game I didn't really want a VOD review because like I got like grief like in real life. I had to like out like my mom and stuff, so it was kind
yeah.
of distracting in the first game. I think in summer school this has like not send like one-sided VOD reviews, so I didn't want to send the second game either. And then the third game, that's the Z game I sent.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's just kind of whatever you want me to go over. If it's a one-sided game or if it's a not one-sided game, there's still a lot to pick up on.
Yeah, that's
Obviously, if
true.
it's a game you're 20-0, that's a little bit
Yeah, because like
much.
the game, I was like on talent, I was like what 0-0-0, like my whole top lane 0-7, bot lane like yeah, it was over.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's still a lot more you could have done here.
Probably, yeah, for sure.
How
I feel
and
like the early game, I kind of griefed it sort of like level one against
yeah.
Cloud. I
I
could have
mean,
killed him and I missed an
I
opportunity
mean,
and
at
stuff. Yeah.
least looking from this game isn't really your fault.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that you couldn't have
I
carried it,
I
but
probably could have played better. Yeah,
you probably like there's a world where you probably could have carried this game, but
for sure.
it's
Yeah.
this game is sometimes you just lose a game. Sometimes you get
Right.
a
Yeah.
1-7 top who
hmm
gets 3.1 CS per minute.
Yeah.
I mean, your CS per minute wasn't that great either. I know on Talon
Yeah.
sometimes you get a little caught up on the roams.
hmm
But I mean, you still had way more damage than anyone else on your team. You had
Yeah.
82% KP, so you didn't play horribly, I wouldn't say. And plus,
Right.
I would say you probably did better than your counterpart mid, which is really what you want to ask for. And
hmm
you cannot kind of go based off what your teammates are going to do. You kind of have to just the only thing you can be consistent about is your own play. And if you're consistently better than the enemy mid, if you play enough games, you will climb.
That's true. Yeah.
Can get frustrating, but
hmm
all right. So let's see. First, I wanted to go over. I did a little stuff about where I want to go with the coaching
hmm
sessions. So first is kind of want to go over what we're going to do from before the VOD review.
All
I just
right.
want to let you know my goal as a coach isn't really to tell you what you need to do in a game, how you can do this, and that'll bring you up from Plat 4 to Plat 3.
hmm
I kind of want to give you the tools to figure out in the future, go review your own VOD, figure out, I died here. I died at 5 minutes to a gank to Hepgrim. What could I do in the future to, prevent that? Maybe I need to the enemy jungler's been missing. He was last seen bot side, and I was hugging bot side without vision. I need to make sure that before I push up, I need to make sure I get a ward, even if I miss a minion or two.
Right.
Stuff like that. So it's important you to figure out what you're going to do on your own, because otherwise you might climb a little bit after this coaching session, but then you'd just be hard stuck again, not knowing what to do.
hmm
And so to kind of start off with, what do you think are your main problems?
Um, I have no idea how to play around minions at all. Like I've like wave management, I have like no clue on me. I have like
Okay.
yeah, I basically have no clue on, and sort of a little bit of roaming as well.
What about roaming? Like
Like when I should go to like fog or when I should like look to like word like enemy jungle and stuff like that. Just when to do stuff. Yeah,
when and where to roam?
right.
Okay. Um, anything else here?
A little bit of warding as well. I always like ward like the most generic spots and like that's it. To be honest.
So vision control.
Yeah.
What would you say about your objective control? Do you think your objective control is pretty good?
Um.
Like getting to dragons on time, knowing when you can do a dragon, when not to, knowing when to help
Yeah,
the.
I think so. Yeah.
You think you're pretty good with that? Okay.
Yeah.
How about your side laning, like your mid game,
Yeah.
knowing?
Side leading. That's also something I
Okay.
probably need to work on.
Okay. Let's see. Just trying to go through some of my notes from other coaching sessions and stuff to
hmm
figure out what to work on. All right, so I feel like that's a decent amount to go over, at least for now. If you figure out what I'm going to try to ask you questions about what you're doing, why you think stuff went wrong, what you think you could have done better.
Right.
And if you can't figure it out, of course I'll nudge you in the right direction.
Okay.
But okay.
Yeah.
So let's start with the game. I checked the VOD, but you used Blitz, so I couldn't see your runes. So I kind of want to
Oh.
check that out. So you versed Garen mid, right?
Yes.
That is not a fun matchup.
Yeah.
Garen.
I was basically just 0-0-0 like the entire laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, the thing when you play against something like Garen.
Mhm.
Here, you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
So that is really important to analyze what you want to do this game in the pregame. This extends to while you're in lobby and while you're in the loading screen here, right?
Yeah.
And in this game, you are Zed versus Garen. The next thing I really like to notice is the jungler matchup. And when you play mid lane, you really want to often play around the 2v2. Who's going to gank? When are they going to gank? What kind of clear does Skarner do? I'm pretty sure he usually does a full clear. He doesn't really like to level 2 or level 3 gank. Kind of weak before he gets 6, but with Predator, he has to base before he can use that to get boots. But Shaco does like to level 2 gank. Against Garen, it's going to be difficult to do anything pretty early.
Yeah.
Especially as Zed. This is stuff that you should just kind of look at in like 5 or so seconds, kind of figure out. I don't have to worry about ganks early on, or getting ganked early on, as long as I, don't run it down.
Mm-hmm.
But Garen's probably gonna have kill pressure over me as long as he's not really bad. And no, going into this lane, you are probably not gonna get kills on lane. And so knowing that Garen is a pretty hard counter Zed, knowing that, what do you think you should try to do in this game?
I just look to roam, get my other laners ahead because I can't really get ahead myself, like just in my.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Like conceptually, you look at the lane matchup and you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna really be able to kill him. I should try to get level 6, get level 4, play around Shaco, play around. Which lane do you think is going to be better to play around? Do you think bot with your jungler invade the Skarner, or do you think playing around? Sorry, did I say bot? Top jungler invade the Skarner with Shaco, or do you think you're ganking your bot lane would be better?
I think probably invading the jungler because like if you just invade him early, you can put him really behind, right?
Okay, yeah, I think that's definitely a viable option. I think what I would personally do is if your Shaco wants to go very aggressive with invades early on, I would go along with it. I would try to get prio. It'd be hard to get prio early against Garen as Zed, just because he's tanky and he'll outtrade you early on. You can try to poke him out with Qs. But noticing the top lane matchup, it's Camille, very difficult to gank, especially when she went flash. I've been seeing a lot go ignite, teleport.
TP, yeah.
Yeah, but so she's probably going to be kind of difficult to gank. Jungle, Skarner's kind of tanky. I think you're probably not going to get enough prio to do early invades with Shaco. Again, this kind of comes with time. This isn't going to be something that you're immediately just going to know what to do. And again, we already said you're probably not going to be able to kill Garen unless he grossly makes a really bad mistake, especially with Fleet. I have no idea why he would go Fleet. And then, especially looking at this bot lane, you have a Thresh versus 2 immobile range champions that are, if he lands a hook, you can kill them very easily.
Right.
So personally, I would try to play around my bot lane a lot more. Mm-hmm. And once you get level 6, once you're able to get the shove on the Garen, and again, if Garen's playing smart, he'll try not to let you get the shove.
Right.
Because if he just Qs you, if he just E's the wave, he'll probably kill it just as fast as you will with your WEQ. But in gold and plat, they probably won't really know exactly what to do with the game. But personally, I would try to I would try to farm up, just farm with Q, try to get as much farm as possible, poke him down with WEQ whenever you can, make
Yeah.
sure Skarner's not around to gank you. Then I would try to roam, try to get a 4-man bot with your Shaco. Play around dragon.
Yeah.
Shaco likes to do early dragons once he gets ult. Especially if Thresh lands a hook and can lantern you or Shaco in, this is a free double kill over and over and over. It might be hard to kill Senna with barrier and heal, but ADCs hate Zed for a reason. You know, late game you might struggle to kill Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa is extremely strong in the 1v1 right now.
Yeah.
But in the early game, in the mid game, level 11 and before, you should be able to easily 1v1 her. Or 3v3 and get a kill. So that's how I would approach the game.
Mm-hmm.
So again, in the pregame, I would always try to analyze what you think you want to do this game. It shouldn't take you as long as it took me to kind of explain what I think you should do, but hope that makes some sense.
Yeah.
And so let's just round of laning. Yeah, that's fine. Let me check your runes again. So Electrocute. Taste of Blood's always good. Personally, I prefer Ultimate Hunter nowadays, especially because they just nerfed the healing.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of up to you, especially if you're going to go Eclipse. I think Eclipse is probably the best move this game just because they're so tanky on the top side.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you what the best build path to do is because I haven't played much Zed this season. I've been trying to learn some mages and not kind of like cheat my way to climbing this season. But try to expand my pool, so I'm not going to be able to go over the correct build path to go. But especially if you think you're going to go Eclipse and go for, because that has the Omnivamp, you really don't need the extra Omnivamp. Usually for me, between Taste of Blood and my health and the potions or the refillable, that's enough sustain for most lanes. And I think because especially after they nerfed it, I think the cooldown reduction on your ultimate's really important. But again, that's kind of personal preference. But I think you're better off going Ultimate Hunter most games.
Okay.
I like Transcendent Scorch. Those are probably my favorite. Again, I don't know about Scorch versus Garen. Is my only thing.
Right.
You know, most games I will go Scorch into anything that I think I'll be able to kill. But again, Garen, you're not really gonna have much kill threat on. So you go for an invade.
Wait, so what should I switch out Scorch for in this scenario? Like, Absolute Focus or something? I mean, Gathering Storm?
You could do Gathering Storm. I don't know what I would say you should swap it out to. I think Gathering Storm would be an okay option. I really like the Transcendence. You don't really need Null Orb. So, I mean, if you want to go this, you could go Gathering Storm. You could do, what's it called? Precision. You could do Coup de Grace and, or Presence of Mind or Triumph and Coup de Grace or one of these. Okay. You could also do a Conqueror page against a Garen because you won't have much kill threat. I mean, I don't have as much success on the Conqueror. I think, unless I'm against a really, really tanky team, I don't like to do it, but... Alright. So, okay. So I like the clicks. You do a lot of clicks, kind of keep the Garen guessing where you're going to go. Okay, so he's just going to perma-shove. That's fine. Right now, I'd like to see you actually throw your Q on him and go to auto the minion, maybe. Because you just saw him use his E. Right now, his E's on a fairly long cooldown. Let's look it up.
Yeah.
So Garen's E cooldown is 9 seconds. So right now, you could have let's see. You could have walked down here
Mm-hmm.
thrown your Q, tried to hit the minion to kill it, and hit him.
And Garen. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things you always want to do. Again, the Q doesn't do as much damage if it's gone through minions first or hit something
Yeah.
else first, but especially with Scorch, knowing you took Scorch, every little hit counts a lot. If he tries to trade autos with you, your Q will be back up before his E, but just remember, only slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can erase that. Sorry, I haven't used this drawing app before.
Yeah,
So
no, yeah.
So. Okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, I walked a little bit too far back.
Yeah.
There,
I mean, that's just a little micro mistake. I'm not gonna complain about that. 4 out of 6 isn't bad. Also, I'm not sure if I just didn't notice, but do you know what he started item-wise?
Pardon? He went to Dorn's.
He went shield?
Dorn shield.
Okay.
Shield, my bad. Yeah, he went shield, yeah.
Okay. Personally, I like to go E second mostly if I'm not going to use my W a lot.
Okay.
But, like...
Yeah, I just want to go for W just for, like, plays like those. If he just tries to, like, Q me, I can just instantly W out. And, like, just
yeah. But... Yeah, again, you would need to have W'd right here. And that's kind of hard to react to, especially with the projectile speed. So... It depends on personal preference. I usually like to go E, maybe into ranged matchups where I need the W to farm properly. Again, E can help you farm too, but if you're versus a Jarvan or the Shaco was on the enemy team, I don't know why Shaco's full clearing. He probably could have... Actually, I don't know if there's a good level 2 gank anywhere, but if the Shaco was here, yes, on the enemy team, you could go W second just in case he level 2 ganks, and you just want to save it. But also, I don't know how much I hate the W. I wouldn't have used W back.
Okay.
Probably. I mean, I might have in the moment, but... Because if you go up, you could probably hit him with both Qs if you go here.
Yeah.
If instead of going this way,
I would went like...
if you went there, you'd
Yeah.
still be out of... You kite towards your minions a little bit, maybe right there even. Somewhere in this area, in this pocket, I would say would be best. Again, this is small sort of micro, but if you can kite him into your minion wave, he'll take a lot more damage. Because your minions will be attacking him.
Yeah.
Then also, you're kind of out of range of the Q here, so if you Q, you'll hit the first one probably, but I don't think you hit the second one, and even if you do, it's easier for him to dodge, so it's not as replicable.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. Alright. So, you know his E's still going to be on cooldown. I'd like to see you try to hit a Q. Again, you used Q, but you didn't try to get it on him. His passive's going to heal him up a lot more now. Okay. Right now, you should try to go for an WEQ. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, like here he lives to 1 HP. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's go back to this. So you use your WE, that's good. And you kind of immediately go for your Q, and I think you missed this one. I'm not sure if you do or not, but I like to wait about a quarter of a second, maybe a little bit less, but just to see where they're running to, so I'm more likely to hit them.
Okay.
Because there is the input time. Again, that's kind of a little funny thing with his inputs, but you can usually hit them a little bit more accurately if you WE, wait a quarter of a second, then Q. I can kind of show you what I mean in a second.
unseen blade is the deadliest.
But yeah, so that's good. Good that you don't flash, that you don't chase. Again,
Yeah.
you popped your pot, that's good. Should be noticing what time it is here. You could also be playing a little more aggressively. You still have flash up. You could probably try to hit him with a Q so he can't regen as much with his passive. But I do like that you're zoning him off the farm. I think that's pretty good from you. Let me just... if you WE, people will often try to dodge. And as soon as you W, that's energy too. Let's say you throw your... God, this is annoying.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Let's see there. Okay. So... if you throw your W right here, and let's see if I can change the color. There's an enemy right here.
Yeah.
Or, actually, that is not the eraser.
Minions have
Let's
spawned.
make the enemy right here. Okay. So, you could Q right here immediately, which is what you did right there. And there's a chance that it's going to hit them. But what happens when you get to higher elos is they'll start to dodge down. They'll start to dodge that way. If they walk that way, you can't really predict where they're going to walk.
Mm-hmm.
And if you WE, hold your Q for a quarter of a second, you know, you can see which way he's going to walk and be a little bit more likely to get it. But again, that's not the biggest thing you'll kind of get. I'm sure you played a lot of Zed, so you're kind of have an idea of what you're doing. Again, I would try to I would go auto all these minions, and if he goes up towards you, WE here.
Okay.
I would be right here, autoing this minion, and if Garen goes up towards you to auto, you could use your W up this way, use your E immediately,
Yeah.
and then Q back, and you might be able to get him with the electrocute proc. Stop his passive from going off and get a really good trade there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is kind of just micro stuff with Zed specific, but again, with okay, I like that. You really don't want to take a tower shot there, but
Yeah.
okay. Nice ideas, though. You have the idea going right, so it's just a lot of execution, figuring out what to do and when.
Yeah.
One thing I have noticed, you haven't put your ward down yet still.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3:30 in the game. If he's full cleared, he could have had time to kill a scuttle already, too. I didn't look to see which side he started on down here, but I'm guessing... oh, he's right there. You can see him right now.
Yeah.
You should probably be... either try to push this in and then roam and help, or... if you're going to use your W there, I would really try to use it just to shove the wave, so you can help your Shaco out. Because you don't want to just loot... you don't want to lose the whole minion wave to go help him, if you can help it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we've kind of already decided you're not really going to be able to kill the Garen.
Yeah.
So you can poke him a little when you can, but your biggest priority should be helping your team out, try to get kills. Okay. Honestly, I'm more of a fan of letting his recall go there, through all the way.
Okay.
You could push this with a WEQ really quickly.
Oh, right, yeah.
Then
And
you
there's,
can
like...
just reset immediately. He's going to miss a lot of this wave.
Yeah.
You could get a longsword a Dirk or boots. I'm not sure exactly how much it is. I don't think you have enough for a Dirk right now, but maybe after this wave you would. You'd
I'm
get
pretty
back
close
to wave to the lane. He'd miss some of this wave. You should get back in time to be able to get to not miss anything from the next wave. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
The main reason I say this is a decent option to keep him in lane if you think you have kill threat on him right now.
Okay.
If you want to extend this isolated lane, this is a good play. I mean, he's low, but he's Garen, so it's going to be hard to do. If you were in a higher elo, I would say this might be a decent choice because you would be able to dive him with your jungler.
Right.
But you have a Shaco. He's not the best at diving. If you had something like an Elise, and if you were in, I'd say high plat, low diamond, the junglers will start to kind of, if you just type it in chat, hey, let's dive, 20, if you can read right here and say, you're going to stop it, you do that, you throw your Qs, press enter, say dive mid 20s, and then ping on the way a couple times. Hopefully he'll notice, he'll see that, he'll look at the wave state mid, and then he'll say, oh yes, you're right, let's do that. And I think something like that is playing around your jungler and letting them know what you want to do. Extending the laning stage here without buying isn't horrible, but yeah. Again, that ended up working out decently. He missed the cannon, but you could wait to throw your Q until he's autoing. He might go for that auto there, but now that it's getting really low, he's going to go for the auto right now. And when he's going for the auto, if you are right here, so if you're right here, you throw your Q out right here through the cannon, it's going to hit him. And that gives him with 3 choices, right? So he's going to take Q and go for farm. Right? He's going to... Especially when you have W up. He could leave and just say, you know what, I don't want to take the Q. It's a cannon, so he's probably going to go for this first option.
Right.
Or... Third option, take Q, miss CS. And what I mean by the miss CS is he's going to go up, try to get the farm, but you're going to threaten your Q, and just the threat of your Q makes him make a mistake. Auto the minion too early, auto it too late, misjudge. He's going to be a little overwhelmed with what to do. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, that's just a small thing. It's not necessarily Garen specific, but something like that, holding your abilities, especially ones that are not targeted, is very important. Right now, go for trade. You don't want to force it, but he doesn't have his E up now. When he goes for that farm, you could throw your Q. Again, you focused on killing the minions up here. If you didn't auto an E a second ago, they would still be high enough HP that if you go for this Q, you'd be able to hit him. Because you see him posturing aggressively, and you know he's going to want to go for the farm. So try to force trades when his skills are down. Wait a second. Give me one sec. Friend invited me to a game. Let's see. So you want to force trades when the enemy's abilities are down. So right here, Garen's E is down. You could go for a WEQ if you wanted. Again, you used your E to farm and push the wave for when you didn't need to. And his E was down, so even if he tries to Q you and run at you when your W's down, he's still not going to do a lot of damage because he still doesn't have his E up.
Yeah.
One thing to note is you still don't really know where Skarner is. He might be anywhere. You don't have great vision control. You
Right.
can be hugging bot side, but he does have Predator. If he backed and has boots and Gare and Q, they could run you down pretty quickly, but you still have Flash, so you probably wouldn't die. Again, that one's just small micro. Don't W. Know how much your mana or energy your combos are
Yeah.
going to cost. I'd like to see you autoing this wave. Okay, just the reason I said to auto it is to force him to want to stay.
Okay.
Because earlier I said you should reset to get gold
Yeah.
and buy a little bit. You would be able to buy a little more than him and you would probably do better. But at this point, he's still pretty low. You're going to hit 6, not this wave, but I'm guessing the next wave is going to be the cannon that you'll hit 6. And you want to keep him here so that way when you hit 6, you can go in on him when he's half health. And you can just easily kill him. Your Ignite will probably be up soon too. The quality's not good enough for me to see exactly what time that is, but I think it's 33, which is about 30 seconds will be around when you get 6.
Yeah.
So, again, you want to really be posturing really aggressively here. There's no reason for you to be so far back.
Okay.
Again, I would venture to say stand right around here. Because you still have this ward here. You don't have much vision here. You have that, which gives you fake vision. You know, it gives you security. But it won't do much for you. Because he can still walk up here. He could walk around you. He could walk this way. You could walk this way. But you would most likely see him walking through here. Anyway, he would come bot side, you would see him. Unless somehow it took the blast cone over, walked through Dragon. And if he does that, you could... Bravo to him for ghosting someone's stream or whatever. But... So I would stand around here, hit him, poke him out. Don't let him get the farm and try to zone him out of the XP range. At this point, he has enough health that you're probably not going to be able to one-shot him right now. He's only missing that much. But if you can send him a WEQ or so, try to poke him down a little bit. Know that pay a lot of attention to your level 6, especially on someone like Zed or Talon Assassins. That's one of your biggest spikes.
An enemy has been slain.
So again, I would want to be standing aggressively here. You can hit him with Qs. You have full energy, you're not doing anything. I like that. Okay. But see what I mean there?
Yeah.
That's what I mean with the WEQ. You decide right now you're going to WE, and then you already decided where you're going to Q, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can WE, wait a second, you see that he's walking this way, now you send your Q.
And then I can Q.
You can send your Q here, and you can send your Q there if you go right here. Again, he might also juke a lot more than that, and juke right back down again. But do you see how you're a lot more likely to hit the WQ if you wait just a quarter of a second? Yeah. But, so now you don't have much kill threat anymore, and you probably won't be able to kill him at level 6. This right here, you're not respecting that he has all his abilities up when you don't have any of yours.
Right.
You have your Q, you have your E, but you're low energy. He kind of fucks that up. But ideally, you would go for your trade and have your W up for when you get ult. So you'd be able to go in immediately and be really ready. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So ideally, you would be able to set up the gameplay so that you would have done your WEQ trade here a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
About, let's see, you get your ult here about 6 seconds earlier. Because this is when you hit level 6, so that way you would be closer to full energy, you would have your W back up, and he would be lower. If you did it 6 seconds earlier, and you waited a quarter of a second to get the electrocute proc off, he would be low enough that he might be in lethal here.
Yeah.
You might not be able to kill him here, but the threat of it can deny him farm, you could deny him XP, you could force him to reset, which you could then roam bot, you could then go reset yourself and get tempo. The options from there, you can do whatever you want. But again, after you get that farm, I want to see you go down. I like that. I don't like that you walk back up. It's not horrible. You don't really have vision. That's good to land that. Should also note that your bot lane is having a fight here. You probably could have just could just push this and roam bot. You know that your jungler is going to be ganking there. Also, one thing I've noticed, you haven't looked to the side lane, you haven't looked at your jungler once, you haven't looked at your bot once. I have no idea if this is going to be a good roam, because you look to start roaming, and now you look, but if you looked earlier, you would see how low they were, you would have been able to move. You're roaming too late, you're probably not going to be able to get anything off of this. Is my guess, because she's full health, you don't know what sums she used. So... Also, right here, let's see, right here, I would just kind of try to walk this way, not use my W yet, because using your W to get right here leaves a shadow here that's completely useless.
Yeah.
And it's nice to, if she was 30% HP, 50% HP with Ignite, you would be able to kill her regardless.
Right.
But at full HP, you at least need to hit 2 Qs to be able to try to kill her with a bunch of autos, but even then, you probably want all 3. If that makes sense. So I would just try to run her down. You see your Thresh is there. Try to force her to dodge back that way, and force her to try to go for the fight. Try to block off her path, and try to save your W until you need to use it. Mm-hmm. Again, what happens if you W here and she has flash and she can just flash away?
Yeah.
Then you ult her, she flashes, she gets out, but both your shadows, if you ult from here and she's right here and flashes here, both your shadows, you're not going to be able to Q her. She gets out for free. So try to save your W, your shadow. This works for, I saw you play Talon too. If you try to save your jumps for when you can, your wall hop too. Mm-hmm. If you play Kha'Zix or something, instead of Eing here, you could just walk and save your E for when they flash, if that makes sense. You know?
Yeah.
There's no need to W right then, because I'm gonna guess you don't kill her here, because right now she's already out of range of all of your Qs. You might hit her with one, you're not gonna kill.
Yeah, I greedy. I went for a flash. I'm like, maybe I could land an E or something.
But you see how if you had just waited with your W for a quarter of a second, or even just flashed first, you would have been able to W, and if you hit her with a second Q, she would have died.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, combo-wise, that's just a bit of a misplay. That would have been fine. You're going to miss probably 2 waves for this reset, so I don't know if it's fully worth it. I don't know if I like that. Why'd you go for the heal reduction?
Because I thought, like, he's been, like, misplaying, like, in lane, like, a lot. I've been able to get him, like, down really low. If I just keep on poking him, I could just, like, stop his healing.
Yes, but the way Executioner calling work is that while after you damage them, they heal less for a few seconds, right? Mm-hmm. And with Garen, after, I think, 9 or 10 seconds of not being in combat, he starts to heal, and at that point, the Grievous Wounds wouldn't be applied at that point.
Yeah.
Additionally, on Zed, you really want the damage. You want the raw damage 95% of the time before the heal reduction. Maybe if you're playing against something like an Aatrox or a Sylas, you want to get the early Executioners. But only in those scenarios, and I would still go for a Dirk before that.
Yeah.
99% of the time. Because now your damage is a lot lower than it could have been. And
yeah.
I do like the boots early. I really like that because you're not going to be able to kill him mid. And you're just going for... And again, also, you're just kind of zooming in on yourself. You should be looking at either your lane or the enemy lane. The bot lane, the other lanes, and whatnot. Just kind of watching this. That's just a little unlucky. Super unlucky. But when you're walking back to lane, try to look top, try to look bot, see what's happening. You, let me write this down. So, if that makes sense. If you look, you might see that oh, Camille burned Flash. Oh, Camille and Volibear are heavy trading, and they're both getting low. Maybe you'll be able to push this next wave in, and then roam top and try to help kill the Camille. Maybe you'll see that the bot lane is doing it. Maybe you'll see they're doing Dragon here. You'll have a better idea of what's going on. Even if you just see what's happening mid, that's still better than just watching yourself, because that doesn't help anything.
Right.
Also, I would say you don't really need to use your F keys necessarily, but at least put your cursor here. Look top every now and again before you. Especially before a roam, you know, when that we're at 12:17 now. I'll note that when you went bot here, when was that? Here, you see them get slain, and it takes you. Let's see how long it takes you. Think about every second, and you still haven't looked bot once.
Yeah.
How long has it been? Now they've gotten 3 kills, and you still haven't looked bot. It's been probably 15 seconds or so.
20 seconds around there.
And now you look. Imagine if after that you started immediately pathing bot. You would have been able to kill the Skarner already.
Mm-hmm.
You might have been able to make a difference. You might have gotten there too late. And again, I'm not saying you have to go to this fight. It might have been better to stay mid and kill Garen. But it's important to you okay, so you won't always make the roam, but at least give yourself the information to know that you're staying in lane because you think staying in lane is a better decision, rather than staying in lane because you just didn't know that what was going on bot. Does that make sense? If anything there is unclear, just let me know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you just want to make sure you're making the best decision possible and you have all the information. It might have been the correct decision to stay mid there and try to go for a kill on Garen, because, I mean, honestly, you might have been able to kill him there. But you want to make sure that you at least know what's going on in the other lanes to know that, yes, this is the right macro decision to stay mid rather than go for the roam there. We were at like 12:10 or something. So right here. I like you helping them with Dragon. Not too much there. Again, you have your ward up. I would go for a nice deep ward here.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have the thing open. Give me 1 sec. A minute. Okay, so right here you have a bit of vision on your bot side. You're probably going to want to be playing bot side, like I said earlier this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since you want to be playing bot side, you want to have a lot of your vision bot side, so you know that when you go bot, you know where Skarner is. You know that he won't be there to counter gank. You want to lean towards bot. So I would recommend setting up, especially right there. The wave isn't going to crash for a little bit longer. You have a little while. You don't know if they really need help with this dragon. It's good to be around the area, but you could have also gone pathed here and plopped a ward right here. That's a good spot to get a ward because it'll spot Skarner when he's going here. You could have at least plopped a ward here or here as well. I think those are good wards as well, because this will let you know if the support's roaming. Which, it's a Senna. Senna's probably not really going to roam mid. The most she'll do is her ultimate, most likely.
Yeah.
But I would like to see you try to go up for a deep ward here, just because there's nothing really else for you to do on the map. Their top isn't really showing. Their bot is under tower. You're not going to be able to roam. your bot's doing dragon. So you want to hover the dragon so you're around in case Skarner or someone shows up. But you know Garen just reset, so you could go get some deep vision. I would say try to focus on getting vision. Oh, you end up doing that. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have liked you to have done it earlier, but that's not bad. I also probably would have just walked the dangerous way since you have E, and you know no one's there. But
Okay.
again, that's not important. That's not going to be what wins or loses you a game. Now I would, again, you W out after his E is already done. He doesn't really have much damage at that point.
Yeah.
You could W, E, and auto him down a little bit and then go for a Q. Instead, you get nothing out. You get no real value out of that Q.
Yeah.
So, again, you're just kind of noticing, yeah, I'm not going to be able to kill him.
Yeah.
So, you don't really want to be trying to get Shaco to gank you because you're not going to be able to kill him even with ganks. That's good. I would like you to be able to go for a WEQ here, but you don't have a lot of energy to do that. Your Q.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, assuming you didn't already use your Q. But he's probably taking those. Or he's going on Rift or ganking top. I would be spam pinging your top laner.
Yeah, it's too late. I pinged really late.
Yeah.
I didn't even ping it on.
At this point, you're ganking so late that you're probably not going to get a kill here. I would have just kept shoving mid and tried to go for plates.
Okay.
Because, again, it's... will you... Let's see. Let's see. Before you roam... One... Will you get there in time to do anything? Will you, realistically, at this point, when you start to leave lane, you see Skarner's top already, you should just click the minimap and see what's there. You can see Skarner's already top. You know Garen's top side, he already just killed there. And you can see that they're gonna be maybe half health each, but Garen's full health. You can think realistically, will you be able to impact that play? And this also goes back to look at the lanes more. Try to get as much information as possible. You might decide that for you think this play is still worth it. And that's okay if that's what you decide to do. Just make sure you have all the information to decide that's a good play. Because right now you could have shoved this in, gone for plates, you could have gone to kill their bot lane. Instead you go for, you waste 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 25 seconds. You could have gotten that plate there. You could have gone with Shaco and dove their bot lane. Because they have 3 top side. You could 4-man bot easily against 2 squishies. Again, I'm not trying to say that one thing is better than another play. That's for you to decide. I think that would have been the play, to go for a plate or go for a dive bot lane. But it's important to think about what you should do. Try to get as much information. I also didn't write number 2. Here. So, what I mean by this is misinterpreting all of the information is better than making the right play but not having the information. And what I mean by this is this play might not work out for you to roam bot. In this specific situation right here, it might not work out for you to go bot. Let's see where it was. went around top. Right here, it might not have been a good idea to go bot. You might have died. You might have given them 2 kills and not killed them bot. Versus you might have ended up getting a kill on them top side here. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is what is replicable every single game. It's more likely, it's probably 90% likelihood of getting at least a kill down bot lane with maybe a 10% likelihood of this play working out better going for top side. And yes, some games it won't work out well, but play the numbers game. Solo queue is a lot more about the numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to do the play that is more likely to work out rather than the one that, again, maybe if you are really, really far behind this game and you need to make a Hail Mary play, sure, go for it, but go for the play that's more likely to work. And if you have all the information, and even if you look at all the information, you look at bot lane, you look at top lane, and you still decide to go top lane, at least you had and used all of the information available to you.
Yeah.
So try to really focus on understanding everything that's going on the map. Really, especially on roaming assassins, you really need to be aware of what's going on in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you were around here. Let's see what's going on with this fight. Again, you're kind of watching yourself. I saw you pan over a little bit. You're gonna get cannon. That's good. You get all the farm. Very well done. I think it was a good idea not to go on Garen because you probably wouldn't kill him. Again, I don't know if the defensive pink is... Actually, I don't know if I would have pinked right there. I probably would have waited for a more aggressive pink for later on, but that's besides the point. You know that you don't have any pressure. One thing to note is right now what I would do is kind of look at what my teammates are doing. You just cleared a wave off your tower and you want to see, so what's going on right now? Your bot lane is resetting. Your Shaco is resetting. And your Volibear is pushed up really far. So this goes back to vision awareness. Know what your team is doing. And know what your team is doing, and based on that, try to figure out what the enemy will do. Wait, what was the number 2? I said, will you get there in time to do anything? And is... So this is just what I meant. Is there a better play to make on the map?
Yeah.
Go for plates, go for dragons, dive the bot lane when they're doing a top gank, etc. Mm-hmm. What I mean by this is look at what your team is doing and try to figure out what the enemy is doing. So right now, if you were the enemy jungler, you could be... I'm not sure where exactly Skarner was before this because I kind of skipped ahead to this point, but I think he was bot side. He could be organizing a dive on your bot lane as soon as they get back to lane and just pick him off easily again. Or they might be able to gank your Volibear because he's really overextended without any vision.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to consider. I think it's good to push the wave in first. I would just throw my Q to try to push a little bit faster so you could go for the bot roam here. Skarner's a fast boy. I don't think you're going to be able to catch him unless he runs this way. Yeah, you could just dip now, probably. Actually, I would say just dip, but again, people in this elo like to just fight for no reason, so it's probably better to just go to the fight. But... again, just try to figure out what you're going to do before it happens. It looks like you're reactively making decisions. That was horrible spelling. So, you react to what the enemy does. You want to play to how you want to play. And even if you're not playing to your team's strengths, if that makes sense, you know, figure out what you want to do into this play rather than just react to what the enemy does. Right here, you're just kind of pushing, you're just kind of daydreaming, pushing mid, and then you react to when you see Skarner, right?
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, you could proactively play to your strengths and look for what the enemy... Try to anticipate what they will do. And if you anticipate what's going to go on here, like what I said here before I even saw the Skarner, I said one option that will happen is that Skarner will try to dive bot here as soon as the bot lane shows up, right? And I saw him bot recently, so I think that's what he's going to do. And I said it's also possible he's going to dive top or gank top, but I don't think so because I saw him bot. If you were proactive, you might not have made the decision to come help them bot yet, but you would have at least had it in your mind, this might happen, I want to be ready, and if it does, I will be ready for it. Rather than you see it, you're like, oh shit, I didn't expect this. What do I do? And you kind of just take a couple seconds to figure out what's going on. You might get there faster. You might be able to kill him sooner. You, again, small micro thing is you walk the long way. If you walked, let's see, if you walked down this way, you would have gotten there faster. You might have been able to kill him. That's small stuff. That's, again, but you might have done that if you were proactive rather than reactive to the enemy team. And again, sometimes you want to be able to be reactive if they do something you don't expect, but if you can anticipate something, you'll be a lot more likely to make the play work better for you. Yeah, nothing too bad. That's a little unlucky, but nice job. Yeah, it's a little unlucky. Again, right there, small Zed thing. Right here, your Q's coming up. You see him staying in range. What I like to do is while you're still running this way, just have your camera pan here for your Q. You might miss it, you might hit it. And if you hit it, he probably dies. That's a small thing, and you're probably more worried about not dying to the minions because you're still low yourself. But I love the fadeaway kills. I think I have an example somewhere of that I can show you. Let me just find it on my computer, but... There we go. I think I found it. So I like to call these fadeaway Q kills. So I ult to avoid the tower shot. I go back, and I keep my camera panned right here. And I just Q him anyway, and I kill him. You see? I go in, I just walk out, I let myself walk out, I just throw my Q to where he is. And you might have been able to do something like that here, because you can see your Q's up, he's within range. You might hit it, you might miss it. And your death mark would have killed him with it. He's down to 41 HP. If you landed it, which you might not have, you would have killed him.
Yeah.
That's something that's just more... It's not going to happen all the time, but the main reason I say that is because it feels so good when you end up getting that sort of outplay and kill them like that. Like, that's the sort of thing I play Zed for. It's a really fun outplay. Also, yeah, Senna ult. I was about to say that. You should be careful they have a Senna. But staying that low, but you ended up reacting to it. Nice sidestep. At this point, I would say you might be able to shove this in. I might greed for it and just expect that the Skarner won't come and gank you, because you know the Camille is top lane, you know that the Senna's bot lane, you saw her ult from there. But just save your W. But yeah, see Garen stayed, you ended up staying, and you're probably not going to be able to shove this in the same way. But yeah, let's see. You can take your W. Okay. Probably not going to be as much going on here, but right now, I don't like this because you're pretty low. You haven't based in a while. They're going to be able to do stuff on the map. You're not able to do anything. That's what Garen wants to do. If you go back to this state here, Garen will be better than Zed because he's able to shut you down. And if he can just stop you from roaming, right here, you want to be able to roam. You've already decided you're not going to be able to kill Garen mid. And you could have there, but again, that was kind of more of a lucky thing. Garen misplayed. Your goal, if he makes a mistake, again, go for it. But your goal here should be to push in and try to roam. And he wants to keep you in this wave. He wants to keep you low so that if you do roam, it won't work out because you're too low to actually impact the fight. You might die. This is exactly what Garen wants.
Yeah.
He wants to keep you in this lane for an extended period of time while you're low, and when you're not able to kill him, you're scared of the gank. You're scared of getting ganked, etc.
Yeah.
I like that you look over at the map, but Shaco's gonna get out with Lantern probably. Oh, never mind. But yeah, I wouldn't stop his back there. I would let him reset. I would push the wave. What I would do is I would let him reset. And the reason I would let him reset there is if he resets, he's going to be walking from base. That's going to take 25 seconds or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's an S, not a 5.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
So if it takes 25 seconds for him to walk back, that gives you a window to roam for 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Instead, you decided to willingly force him to stay in the lane longer. And there is a time where you want to force him to extend the laning phase, right? As I said it earlier. And there are times where you do want to extend that laning phase. However, he's not low. He's level 10. You're level 9. You did just buy. He hasn't bought in a while, but you're not going to really have him in kill threat here and probably won't for a while.
Yeah.
He's not... If he was a mana champion and was out of mana, had this much mana left, maybe that's a good decision because you might be able to 100-0 and force them to stay in the really bad lane state for them. But as far as Garen is concerned, this is fine because this means you're not going to be able to roam. At least you're not going to be able to roam as well. Because right now, what I'm going to guess is that you're going to maybe roam a little bit or you just... Yeah, see, you're staying in the lane a little bit. If Garen wasn't here, imagine if Garen wasn't here, he was still in base. Garen was still right here running back. Your Thresh is here. You're there, and Skarner's here. If you just pinged 10 seconds later, say, I'm about to roam, or something in chat, your Thresh might see that and be ready to react and move earlier, so he might be here instead if you typed it and were...
Yeah.
And let the Garen back. If you just let your team know, hey, this is my plan, I'm going to push, then I'm going to roam, and that would have given you the time to roam. Again, this sort of stuff is really easy to see in retrospect, and in the moment it's very difficult to tell. You might not have been able to tell that Skarner was going to be there out of position.
Yeah.
However, being able to see, do you have kill threat if he stays? No. Do you have kill threat if he backs? No. So your ideal situation is to be able to roam. If he backs, you get a roam timer. After you push that wave in, before the next wave hits, you would have had... Let's see. You finish it there. It's 4:12. You have at least 20 seconds there to roam, because you still would have... Even if you came back right now, you wouldn't have missed much. Garen would still probably only be right here. You probably could have gone for a kill on their bot if your bot did that. You could have dove top. I don't know what your volley was doing there, but just knowing when to roam and when to extend the laning phase is... That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Just know... Again, it's not necessarily a bad idea for you to extend this laning phase. However, take in the information. Be proactive. Think, is it good to keep him in this lane or is it bad? Why do I want to keep him in the lane? And if you decide that after analyzing that, you still want to keep him in the lane for longer, then go for it. That's a good decision. You can try it, see how it works out. But again, try to anticipate what's going to happen if you keep them in the laning phase, and anticipate what you can do if you don't keep them in the laning phase. That might be different if their bot wasn't pushed up. Because right here, you might be able to dive with your team whenever it was. But alright, so let's go down and let's see another play that's going on. This stuff is kind of insignificant. Yeah. So this is just kind of your Jinx for whatever reason is just bot still. That's unfortunate. Nothing too much going on here. So you should get a kill there.
Yeah.
Nice. That was nice. That was very well done by you. Like, micro-wise, that was played very well. You should... Your biggest thing right now should be that. Dragon's about to spawn. I'm not sure exactly when it will. So, 30 seconds. Your Volibear doesn't have teleport, neither does their top laner, so try to tell your team to play around Dragon, be there in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Buying a pink, good. Okay. You're not going to be able to play Skarner. You want to... At this fight, this is a decent flank position. You have a pink there. You see Garen going. How do they have vision? That's weird. Oh, probably through Predator. You want to get a flank off. You want to wait until... Right here, I would just wait on the sideline until you can get a good WEQ on the Kai'Sa.
Okay.
And when I say WEQ, I don't necessarily mean WEQ, but an engage on the Kai'Sa.
Mm-hmm.
Your goal is to be able to kill Kai'Sa here. You're not going to be able to kill Skarner. You're not going to be able to kill Garen. You want to wait until Garen and Skarner focus your backline. You want to wait till they focus your team. And I'm going to draw you in blue here. If you're still in this bush, if you wait for them to go here, Kai'Sa might get a false sense of security here to walk up because she has her front line here. And ideally, her front line, you go in and you will walk up and you will ult the Kai'Sa and end up here, right?
Yeah.
And ideally, they will just say, "Oh yeah, let's go back and help her and peel you off." Do you think they're ever going to do that? Probably not. They're probably going to be focused on the front line. They're not going to peel. They're in a position that, at least right now, you see they're posturing pretty aggressively. They're most likely focused on your team, and they're probably going to stay this line. But if you manage to go around, wrap around, and ult on her, you know Senna's there. You don't know where Camille is. That's an important thing to note, but you will at least be able to trade 1-for-1 on the Kai'Sa. And you'll probably be able to get out because you have flash. Camille ult is the only thing you really need to be careful of, but I would wait. I would be going in this bush, and I would be very focused on just trying to go around, get onto the Kai'Sa, but make sure you wait for them to use their crowd control, or make sure they're no longer in range to stop you from getting your engage off, to peel the Kai'Sa.
Mm-hmm.
That all makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I just... You don't play the fight horribly, but... You have a bad W there. You're not going to be able to have your W up when you ult someone. You're at low energy now. You're not going to really be able to win the fight. And you have to play it really slow now. Then you kill the ward. Camille's going to... Oh, that's weird. I would have...
Yeah, I'll
go. Yeah, but see, if... Right here, you still hover the... You know they don't have a ward here because you just... I just pointed with my finger. I'm stupid. But you know they don't have a ward here. So if you still play in this area... Play around with the bush. They're all, I don't know if you saw it, she, him, everyone on their team went forward. And so did these two. So did Kaisa, who is, I think, back here somewhere. But if you waited and went in this bush and just waited for Kaisa, and then you... Let me play it for another second. If you were... Yeah, you see there? I would still be walking over in this area. But imagine right now if you were right here. You have your W up. You have all your abilities up. You have both sums. You could easily kill both of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you land everything, if you play it micro-wise correctly, you would be able to kill them.
Yeah.
But instead, you walk forward to go play and try to kill their tanks. You're not going to kill their tanks. I'm finished this fight, but you're not going to do anything. You do WEQ to Camille. Look how much damage you did.
Yeah.
Camille hard counters you as a champion identity. Like, you don't do well. Now you can... Yeah. Again, just a little impatient with your Q usage. I would have E'd and then flashed
And then
because...
flashed.
Yeah, it gives your W cooldown down a little bit. And you might have lived. No, not guaranteed, but again, that's small micro stuff. That thing's not important. But when you're playing Assassin, you really want to play for flank. I don't care about the micro. So you want to wait for the right moment to go in. You want to play for flank. I think everything else in this game is probably going to be pretty useless. I mean, at this point, I feel like your team is just outscaled.
Yeah.
And you might win this game, but I feel like you're not going to win this game. You might be able to drag it on a little bit longer, but there's not going to be too much more to learn from this specific game, I'm guessing. So now I want to kind of go over what do you know about you said one of your biggest weaknesses is wave management.
Yeah.
What do you know about wave management?
What do I know? So like when the wave is like around from like the walls of like leading towards river, but like whichever like side it's, how do I like phrase this? Can you open like the rift kit or whatever?
Yeah.
Basically, if like the waves like by your tower, it's gonna be pushing towards the enemy.
Yeah.
Unless there's 4 extra minions and there's like no like other minions of like the opposing enemy team.
Yes.
That means to freeze them.
So let's see if I can zoom in on that. So basically, yeah, so what you're trying to say is here is the spot where it's kind of an even lane state.
Yeah.
That was horrible. I'll redraw it real quick. If the wave isn't here, there we go. This is kind of even neutral wave state. It's gonna stay roughly in the middle here. Unless one of the minion waves has an extra minion advantage, more minions, it's gonna push towards one side. If this side has 7 minions and this has 6, it's gonna push this way.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's see. If it's, let's use a different color. Let's use yellow. If it's in this spot, okay. So if you're on red team versus black team here, we'll just use that. If you have 6 minions here on black team and yellow and pink team has 6 minions here, and this is where the minions meet,
Yeah.
you know it's going to push this way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So to freeze it, you generally want to have a similar number of minions, but on this side. So the big thing with wave state is knowing what to do and when to do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of difficult to do. It's kind of hard to do without examples necessarily. I might go through some of my gameplays and just see if I have anything. I'm going to go through a game here. This one I have a note that says good for wave management. I haven't gone through it in a while. This is Leblanc. Let me see what's going on. So I have a Kha'Zix. I know that as Leblanc here, I know that if I can go in on the Syndra and I can land a chain, she's going to die if Kha'Zix is ganking, right?
Yeah.
That just makes sense.
Yeah.
So ideally, if I can set the wave state up at around, if I can just think about it, and at, oh, why am I not able to draw? Why am I not able to draw on this? Am I not able to draw on that? Oh, I guess I'm not able to draw on that for some reason. That is unfortunate. But essentially, if I know that Kha'Zix is going to full clear, I'm guessing he's going to full clear here. Yeah, he's full clearing. He's going to be done with Scuttle. If I can one, tell him to 3 camp, and I can have Syndra push, and I can freeze it here. So that way she has to, at any point, this doesn't matter what time it is, but no matter what point in the game, if I have my E up, and I'm able to set a freeze up here, Syndra's going to have to extend up to here in order to Q the wave, auto it, and get it under tower, which is what she's going to want to do. And if I can have Kha'Zix gank when she's doing that, I can W up to her and use my chain. She just dies and has to blow her flash.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I want to do with the wave. That's one thing I want to at least be aware of. I don't necessarily want to do that every single time. And that was very batty, but that micro doesn't matter there. I always hit him with the ping. Or with the thing. Let's skip through the non-important stuff. One thing to note is, I don't know who the enemy jungler is. Unfortunately, I want to know that, but I know that Scuttle's going to spawn at 3:15. Hopefully Kha'Zix is going to go straight for Scuttle and not for the Krugs. But I know that there's 2 things I could do right here. I could go for getting lane prio so I can help Kha'Zix contest the Scuttle. Or I could let Syndra push me in. And I could have Kha'Zix gank after he finishes red.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? The reason I'm going over this game and instead of the one that you did is playing against Garen mid is weird, and it's a weird scenario. But so those are the two main options I can think of. You could also try to keep it in a neutral wave state, but I noticed also that she's out of mana right here. If I can keep this lane state around here, if I thin this wave, get it down to maybe, I have 3 minions, if I can get her down to 4, maybe 5, if I could kill these 2 minions here, then she'll have to stay in this wave. She's out of mana. She's not going to be able to do anything. I can then have a freeze going, and then I'll be able to help Kha'Zix with the Scuttle in a minute with the freeze. If I'm able to have a freeze going, and I won't miss much because my minions are going to die faster than hers. She's not going to be useful in the fight because she's out of mana, and I'm going to be more useful. So it's basically 2v1, but Syndra will have autos, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Or if I don't want to do that, I could at least... She probably wants to reset. She's looking to push this wave in, so she can go reset so she can get full mana. What I want to do is not let her reset, so she cannot go get full mana. I see Kha'Zix is fighting. This is bad by me. I should have thinned this out much faster, much sooner. But... So I would have been able to be there before Syndra, ideally. But right now, if I freeze this, she can't reset because she'll miss this whole wave. I still have a corrupting charge left. I'm fine with staying for a bit longer.
Yeah.
But see how my minions are dying so quickly compared to hers? And this next wave hasn't even come yet. That's how many minions she has more than me.
Yeah.
So she's going to miss this whole wave. Or I can go for an aggressive W here, an E, Q, or whatever, and force her to stay in this lane. Force her to use her mana on me. I'm still fine. I still have sustain left. But if I force her to use her mana on me here, she doesn't have anything to help push this wave in.
Yeah.
So essentially, I'm forcing her to make the decision. She has to decide, is she going to take this trade for free? Or is she going to try to use her mana to get the wave in so that she can get a reset when she needs to? So, I don't do that. That's a mistake. Oh, I do it right there. So I see her go onto the use her mana, her abilities on the wave. And I force a long trade here. There are a lot of minions, so I should be very careful of doing this trade. But I notice my minion wave, you look on the mini-map, my minion wave's probably just off screen here. If I walk down a little bit, I can freeze this wave and force her to continue staying mid. She's going to want to reset, but if she doesn't, if I don't let this crash, I see how I don't let this wave crash?
Yeah.
If she decides to reset, she's going to miss this whole cannon wave. And that would be really, really bad for her to miss this cannon wave. So notice how I then make the decision, do I want to... Ideally, I would use my Q and I would use my W, thin this wave out a little bit. So she still has... What I mean by that is so that she still has more minions than me. Let's see if it's because I'm in full screen mode. I think that might be why. Oh, cool. I'm able to draw. I was in full screen. That's why. So if I can keep this minion wave right here, and she has 8 minions, and I have 6 or so, it'll still push into me if I reset here, because I'm still kind of low. I have no corrupting charges left. I don't want her to get back to lane with full health with items when I don't have anything, when I'm not full health. But if I can thin this wave to get it to 8 minions, and while I have 6, it will push towards me. I will still keep my freeze roughly, but it won't push very quickly. If he has, what does he have, like 12 minions right now to my 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To my 7. It's going to push very quickly.
Yeah.
But I want to keep this freeze to deny her. So if it's 8 versus 6, I'm going to miss probably 3 of these creeps. But she's going to miss the whole wave. And this is the best case scenario for me at this point, if that makes sense, because while I do miss some, she's going to miss more than I miss, and I'll be able to come back with a bit of an advantage. I'll have health, and I'll have the corrupting charges back up.
Yeah.
However, another thing to do with this is she's going to see me freezing here. I can't remember what she does, but she might decide, oh shit, LeBlanc's freezing. I need to come up and break this freeze. So he might decide to stay in this lane right now, which is also even better than freezing. If the Syndra comes back because she sees, oh fuck, I'm fucked, I'm going to miss a whole wave here and possibly some of the next one. So Syndra might even stay here. Ideally, I would W right now, so I'd be able to freeze this, and then I would just reset immediately. But I don't do that, which is kind of bad on my end. But this isn't too important. But see how I keep the freeze here? I keep the wave on my spot. He misses that whole wave. He misses the next wave that came in as well. My only problem with doing this is now I'm stuck in this wave where I'm low, and she's going to be at full health when she comes back. And the reason is this is bad is that I'm going to need to reset soon, and next time I reset, she's going to be able to just do the same exact thing to me.
Yeah.
So there's no real advantage gained there, other than a slight advantage in the future where I have slightly more gold to spend when I reset. But also imagine if this was a Zed instead of a Syndra. If I take a bad reset right now instead, that's really bad because Zed will just have time to roam.
Yeah.
Syndra is going to stay in lane right now, but if this was a Zed, he would roam while I take this really bad reset here. So I don't want to stay here, but I see she's spending her mana on the wave. I want to make her think I'm resetting here. I need to be very careful over E. I know Kha'Zix is coming. That's the only reason that I'm staying. Is Kha'Zix is here. I dodge her abilities out. I know she has no kill threat on me. I let Kha'Zix do all the work. And I KS. Try to. And then my next thing I want to do, I should have reset instead of just trying to hit the wave. I notice how I am. This example is about wave management. Notice how I have 0 mana.
Yeah.
I have LeBlanc autos, and I'm very low. I'm not going to be able to get a cannon wave in time. I'm not going to be able to push this into tower. I'm not going to be able to get this in. So there's no point for me to be pushing this wave in. I should have just immediately started resetting. If I had mana to push this wave in, if I had ult, if I could double distortion and clear this wave faster, that might be a decent decision, but this was a really bad decision by me to stay here. I should have just reset here. Now I have mana to W. And get the wave in possibly, but again, Syndra. I don't know if I'm able to get the minion wave in. We'll see if I end up getting it back in time, but it does crash, but I'm kind of lucky with that. I might have at the moment noticed that I was close to 6. I was about to level up. I'd get mana and I would get ult, so I'd be able to clear the wave. But again, I probably would have been better off just resetting. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Also notice, I'm walking to lane. Notice I'm looking top, I'm looking bot. I'm looking at the fight, I'm looking at what's going on. I'm still walking the lane, but I'm looking at what's going on. I get to see there's a lot of fighting going on bot. Their bot lane is low. Maybe in the future, maybe soon, I'll be able to roam bot lane, try to dive them. And I looked top, and I saw there was still some fighting, but there wasn't a ton. And that was bad E, but again, that's micro stuff. That's not a big deal long term if I miss something like that. The idea was decent there. And again, this isn't bad because this wave, what's going to happen with this wave?
It's gonna push towards her.
Yes, but notice how it's still the same number of minions.
Alright.
It's going to be the same number of minions. None of mine have died, so it's going to push slow. And that's if no one touches it.
Yeah.
But also, one thing to notice is, I want to see if you picked up on this. What does this Syndra like to do in lane when she's here? Does she let the wave just build up? Does she auto-attack it a lot? Does she use her abilities on the wave a lot?
Yeah, she uses her abilities on the wave.
Yeah, she just kind of defaults to perma-push. So I know that if I want to keep this wave here on my side, this is a great spot for the wave to be. And look where Kha'Zix is. That's one thing to consider. And he could come gank her, because she has to push up to here in order to hit the minion wave. In this pocket here, somewhere here or here. She's probably going to want to lean towards this side, because she has her pink, but if she goes to this side, we can kill her easily. However, that's in a normal scenario. Right now, they're on the dragon, so Kha'Zix is probably looking to contest that, so he's probably not looking to gank mid here. But that's one thing that, at least consider it. If they weren't doing dragon, this would be very, very good wave state to be in, because the lane is right here. I have the wave next to my tower. If I can try to keep the wave here, I can go for kills on the Syndra.
Yeah.
Again, maybe in this matchup, if I can tell the Syndra's a better player, I've been able to dodge most of her EQ combos. I've been able to play around her. She hasn't been able to land a lot. I noticed that she's probably very easy to kill. Again, I wasn't playing extremely well this game, but at least I knew there was a good chance that I'll be able to kill the Syndra, so that's why I opted towards wanting to keep the wave towards my tower. I adapted to that situation where I realized I think I can kill her, especially if I get a gank from Kha'Zix. However, if I decided this Syndra's good, I don't think I'll be able to kill her, I could just try to shove this wave in fast too, and then I could roam from there instead of freezing it here. because that's what my wave is going to do naturally. I'm going to have that slow push building up because it's on my side. So I had that option. I could, one, freeze. Or I could, two, push and roam. Right now I'm playing more for lane than I am for trying to kill the roam. I don't think this dragon is very good to go for. If they're doing dragon, I can't recall the game, but if they're doing dragon, I don't think it's a good dragon to contest because my bot is still right there.
Mm-hmm.
So best case scenario, it's a 3v2. Worst case scenario, it's a 4v2 because Syndra roams too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I decide I want to play for lane. I want to keep the wave on my side. Notice how, again, I'm posturing fairly aggressively here. I have ult, she doesn't. The minion wave is on my side. If Kha'Zix noticed this, if I pinged, he probably might have come. But notice how I keep the wave on my side, so she, in a mobile mage versus an assassin, needs to go up really far. She is very far from her tower. And this is her after she's already started walking backwards. Right? So me being able to set up a freeze here, when I decide to play for lane, I set up the freeze. And then I go for trades and force her to trade rather than farm. I'm able to do what I want. I can set up for a gank. I have control of the situation right now. Where she has to kind of react to whatever I do. And this is what I want. If I decided I wanted to roam, then I would want to push this wave. That all makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of pushing, there's a couple different types of pushes you could do. You could do the fast push where I just push this wave in immediately and I can go roam and help this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could zone her like I'm doing. I could kind of walk up here. She has to respect me and stay around here. If I just kind of do this with my cursor and bounce back and forth, she won't be able to land abilities on me. I could slowly push this wave up. If I can get, on my side, if I can have 8 minions here, and she has only 5, then the next wave, when that comes up, then the numbers are going to be, 6 minions, 6 plus 8, 14.
Mm-hmm.
Versus 11.
Yeah.
If I can kill a couple of the minions there and make it 14 to 8, this is going to push extremely quickly. That means there's going to be, by the time it reaches her tower, some of them are going to die. It might be 9 minions go under her tower. That gives me, it takes a long time for 9 minions to die, especially if I can keep this cannon alive. That might give me a 30-second time where I can roam. I can go top. I could go bot. I could invade their jungle with my Kha'Zix. I can do whatever I want. I have 30 seconds where I can do that. And since there's going to be a big wave under tower, what happens once the wave reaches her tower? Do you know what happens after this big wave of mine reaches her tower?
Hello?
Hello.
So yeah, my headset DC'd. Can you repeat that?
What was the last thing you heard? Hello?
Yeah, sorry. It was like when the wave reaches the tower.
Yeah, so what do you think will happen once the wave... What is going to happen with the minion wave once it reaches this tower here?
It's gonna take a while for it to die, right? And then it'll slowly push towards back you, or slowly like this.
Exactly. So not only will it take 20, 30 seconds for that minion wave to die, it'll slowly push back to you, so you won't miss much if you roam, since it's pushing back to you. General consensus is, with wave manipulation, is if the minions are pushing towards the enemy, you don't want to roam. If it's pushing toward you, you're okay to leave lane. The reason is that your minions are going to die faster than their minions. So you won't miss as much. You won't miss that much. You might miss a couple of minions of CS. You might miss a couple of minions of XP. But you might be able to get a kill out of it. You might be able to get 2. You know?
Yeah.
You can get pressure on the map even if you don't get anything out of it. You can help your jungler steal camps. You can help your jungler get the dragon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to. It's not necessarily knowing what to do. It's knowing when to do what. So there's a freeze. There's the fast push. There's a slow push. And I'll go a little brief synopsis of what I just kind of went over. A freeze. So the two main things I can think of for freezing are it can be great to freeze when you have high kill threat. Because you can run them down.
Mm-hmm.
And your jungler can gank. Again, they have to, if you have the freeze here, they have to overextend to hit the wave. That gives you time to run them down in the lane or your jungler to gank. And also, imagine if I'm the Syndra against a Leblanc Kha'Zix. Imagine if that's a LeBlanc Kha'Zix. I want the lane to be frozen for me so that way they can't, I don't have to, the Syndra wants it frozen here because that way she doesn't have to go far up. So that way it's hard for her to get ganked. It's a lot safer for her to do that. And that's really important for when you know that the jungler is going to be ganking you a lot. And that's what I mean by that. Fast push, you want to reset ASAP. You want to reset ASAP or you want to get to a fight immediately. And slow push. So those are the main reasons you would want a fast push versus a slow push. There's also if you want to keep the wave neutral. So again, for fast pushing, this prevents the enemy mid from roaming because they'll miss a lot of minions, and if they do roam, you can get plates. And keeping the wave neutral can be good because it lets you react to what happens on the map. If you just fast push every wave, you know, you're not really waiting to see what's going to happen. You kind of keep the wave neutral so that way you can decide, oh wait, I'm going to let them push into me because I think I'll be able to set up a freeze and I'll be able to get my jungler to gank and keep them in a long wave in the lane for longer and extend it. Not let them reset, not let them get their mana back up, not let them buy. And you can kind of decide that by keeping it neutral and kind of figure out what's going to happen next. It gives you the ability to kind of react to what's happening on the map and then make your decision from there.
Yeah.
And again, pushing a lot can also allow you to get a lot of vision, which is very important. You can get harass under tower. This is something that's really important into someone like a Kassadin. I think slow pushes are very important against someone like Kassadin, who's very weak early, and you can harass a lot under tower. Imagine if it's level... let me pull the Rift Kit thing up again. I think if I just... I had the wrong thing open. Yeah, so if I have 10 minions here under tower, and I'm LeBlanc here, and Cassidon is trying to farm the minions. If I have 10 minions here, I'm able to get a lot of harass on him, and I can either, if there was 6 minions, I'm only able to get so much harass off, right? But if I'm able to get 10 minions, I can get a huge wave. That gives me the opportunity to roam. That gives me the opportunity to go out and get vision over here or whatever I want to do. That gives me the ability to poke him down while he's under tower. That gives me the ability to have my jungler come dive him with me. So against someone like a Cassidon, I think slow pushes are extremely important. It changes based on situation. Sometimes you will want to, but as an assassin, you should definitely kind of have an idea of what slow push is and what you want to do with that. Does any of that make sense? Everything makes sense there? Or
Yeah.
do you have any questions regarding that? I know that sometimes I can ramble a little bit and it can be difficult to...
No, that makes sense. It makes sense.
Okay. Do you have any general questions with anything?
Okay, so what would you do against like someone who's like a lot more like powerful than you? Would you just want to freeze under like your own tower, just play safe?
So if the enemy is a bit more powerful than you, that's a very situational response. Like, it could be that Garen example where Garen is stronger than Zed. As a champion, Garen is stronger than Zed. Garen will do more than you in the lane. So you want to push and roam. It could be a situation where you're Zed facing a Kali. You can't push it. You might want to set up a freeze so your jungler can gank for you. But if you lose a fight, if you lose a trade, you don't want to go for that trade. You want to just play safe and get as much farm as you can without dying. Kind of hope that either A, your jungler is going to gank you, or B, if your jungler isn't ganking you, that he's making other plays on the map, that he's getting your bot or your top ahead.
Yeah.
Because personally, I'm fine with losing lane if I'm losing 0-3. And I'll be very happy with my jungler if he's getting every dragon, every rift, and both my side lanes are winning because he's winning there. Where even if it's a free gank mid, I won't be upset because at least he's getting something else done on the map.
Yeah. Okay.
So it kind of depends on the situation, but I think the two main options are to either push and roam, or to kind of, again, try to freeze and get your jungler to help you. Okay. And when you're really far behind and you know no matter what, you're not the win con, sometimes you don't really... You know how I said you generally don't want to roam when your wave is pushing to you?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to just say, fuck it, I'm not going to win lane. Even if I get this wave, nothing good's going to happen. I'm going to roam bot. I'm going to try to get my bot ahead so that hopefully they're farther ahead than the enemy mid, so they'll be able to carry me. And you're basically saying at that point, you're not going to win. You're not going to do much this game. You're just going to hope that your team can carry you, and you're going to play for your team.
Yeah. Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Any other general questions before I go over a little bit of stuff?
I don't think so.
Okay. So right now, I noticed you have a pretty big champion pool, and you also play a lot of stuff. It looks like you do a bit of funneling too.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I think one of the most important things is to kind of narrow down on your champion pool. I understand you want to have fun, and playing fewer champs is less fun a lot of the time. But having a small champion pool really helps you climb. You know, I generally had just Kha'Zix for when I was secondary. I got jungle, or when I was mid, I played Zed when I needed AD on my team, or Leblanc if I needed AP. When I was really tryharding to climb, that's what I did every single game. And if both LeBlanc and Zed were banned, I would just play Talon. That's what I would do every single game. And if I was jungle and I couldn't play Kha'Zix, I would probably dodge. If you really want to climb, if you're very serious about that, that's one of the best things you could do. Have a small champ pool. You can really focus on... You can really... Even as Zed against Garen, if you play Zed every game pretty much, you're going to know how to play that matchup better than the Garen is.
Yeah.
And again, you kind of won that matchup. You didn't lose that matchup, which means you won it. Because as Zed, Garen should just stomp the Zed. And if you don't lose, you're winning.
Okay.
So I would recommend sticking to a few champions. I like to have a lot of variety in my gameplay too, but that's why I play flex usually with friends and stuff when I want to play new champions or mess around with stuff. Right now I'm trying to learn new champs in ranked, but it's the beginning of season. I don't care too much about that. But when I'm trying to grind, I'm gonna really focus on only a few champions. Seems like you play a lot of them. I would recommend pick 2 for jungle, 2 or 3 for mid. Probably
that's
2.
basically what I have.
Two
Like
of
half
each.
of like Rengar I like play somewhat. Yasuo is like more like a norms. I play that in flex. I don't even play that like in solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was flexed.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, I would stick to just pick up the Kayn, just pick up the Echo. Is that Echo jungle or mid?
It's mid. It
Okay.
depends if it's Echo jungle. I play both.
Okay, that's a really good one to have because you can flex him 2 roles. So you could play Kayn, you could play Kha'Zix, you can play Echo, you can play Zed, you can play Talon. That's 5 champions that you can split between the 2 roles, and that is very good for you if you can have those 2. And basically the things that I've personally found the most helpful for climbing is the small champ pool. Really try harding every game. If I'm feeling tired, if I feel like I might not be able to really focus all my energy, I'll just play on my Smurf account if I just want practice. I'll play norms, I'll play ARAM. I'll use that time to really focus on having fun with the game rather than grinding out wins.
Yeah.
If what your goal is to get diamond and to improve, if you play only the games where you're playing 100%, you're going to climb more. If you're a very inconsistent player where some games you play extremely well like this, and then other games you tilt and just play poorly, you might average when you're playing well at Diamond 4, but when you play poorly, Gold 1, and then you're going to hover somewhere in between there. But imagine if you only played when you're playing well like you are Diamond 4, you'll get to the Diamond 4. You'll have less fluctuation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
play to improve, focus on improving, try to figure out what you're doing wrong, try to get better at that. You notice that, let's say you don't really know what to do with your roams. Go back, try to figure out, was this a good roam? Should I have roamed there? Am I getting enough information? You go back and you look at your replay and you say, oh wow, I wasn't looking at the side lanes at all. I was playing really reactively. You then work on that one at a time. Work on one of these little aspects here, especially at a time, and you'll get a lot better. Slowly over time, it takes time to get better at that sort of stuff. It can be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
And then again, important, don't tilt. Clear your head between games. Do whatever you need to do. Full mute. And for me, personally, I had a big trouble where I tended to pretty much every matchup, no matter who I play, no matter what happened, level 3, I would always go all in. I realized that, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. I had to add don't die 1v1. I put that on a sticky note, put it under my monitor, and I made sure I wouldn't die 1v1. And if I thought in my lane, if I might die, I just wouldn't go for it. And for me, that was one thing that I had to do that instantly brought me up from gold to mid plat, just doing just that.
Okay.
And for you, you might not have this problem. For you, it might be I think the biggest thing is going to be proactive instead of reactive. Look around the map, get more vision, get more awareness of what's going on. Do what you want to do instead of reacting to what the enemy is doing. Or at least anticipate what they're doing. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for you to get diamond this season. And again, watch a few videos on the wave management, you want to know a bit about it, but wave management is mostly important for mages, and for assassins it's not as important, but also playing jungle helps a lot with assassins. I think when I started picking up jungle a little bit, it helped me kind of learn what the jungler wants to do. Assassins, I really like to play around the jungler. I don't play for the 1v1. I don't play for lane as much. My laning's actually pretty weak for a diamond player. But I make up for it with my macro. I make up for it with looking what's going on with the team, for my roaming, helping my team, having decent macro. And I'm working on my wave management. I'm working on my everything else, my micro, by trying to learn other champions. I'm trying to really learn how to play Syndra. And I think if I can do that, I'll get better at this aspect. But if you can get better at what you need to do, if you can figure out what you need to get better at, I think you will be able to get diamond. But I would focus mostly on this stuff. Again, I mean, that's pretty much all of the notes I took, but those are the things that I noticed specifically that you need to work on a lot. Wave management is just kind of basic. If you look for it, you will learn it. If you don't look for it, you won't learn it. But it's not the most important thing until you probably get to high plat. In diamond, people in gold and people in plat still kind of just auto shove a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna write this down one more time. Think before you do. Don't autopilot. So again, this is probably the most important thing that I would say for you. And this applies to wave management. This applies to your positioning, like in those team fights, like that one where I said you should stay in the bush.
Yeah.
Think before you move. Don't just autopilot and say, oh, Camille's walking towards me. That means she's going to attack me. She ended up not going for you. She wasn't even aware you were there. So if you just stayed in the bush, she might have gone for you if you stayed in the bush. But if you stayed over there, you might have been able to get the flank. Make the informed decision. Think about it. Don't just autopilot. You know, with the roaming, think about, will this could be a good roam? In order to decide if this will be a good roam or not, you should figure out what's going on the map. That gives you, if you're thinking about what you should do next, think about, will this be a good roam? That brings you to your vision awareness, what's going on the map.
Right.
And that gives you this cue, which would be to make the educated decision. Sorry if any of that, again, was a little hard to follow. I can tend to ramble a little bit, but...
No, it makes sense, yeah.
Okay, do you have anything else you want to go over?
No. I think I'll try to improve on like my decision making.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, from what I can see, you definitely have it in you to get diamond. Again, a lot of it's just grinding and working on it. Work on your farm. I didn't talk about side laning at all to you, but that's something you'll get. I think that you will have a big problem with just looking at your farm numbers when you play mid lane. Your farm does look pretty bad, so I'm guessing a big problem is the side laning. But right now, I say your biggest focus should be on the roaming and your getting information and your vision awareness.
Yeah.
And then once you get a little bit better at that, I would try to figure out what to do with side laning more. But for now, I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
So that again, this is kind of what I was saying. I'm gonna
Yeah.
move this to the very bottom because I feel like that's a better spot to have it. But put that as keynotes. So again, yeah, just focus on trying to figure out making informed decisions.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right, man.
yeah, I'll try to upload this to YouTube when I have time. I'll edit it that way you can go through it later on. I usually try to add timestamps that I go over important information. But I'll let you know when I have that uploaded.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, no worries. Have a great night.
You too.
All
Bye.
right, see you.